Over the last couple of months, I've been super excited about catching up with Indian film because, look, I ignored it for a long time. And it's like finding a whole new genre of film to really get into, and it's been really, really fun. And I've watched a couple, and I gotta say, I'm kind of blown away by these movies, and I'm actually irritated with myself for waiting so long to get into it. So now it's time for another. Let's talk about KGF Chapter One. KGF Chapter 1 tells the story of a gangster who, throughout his life, inspires people around him. He is tasked with going undercover as a slave to assassinate the owner of a notorious gold mine. The movie stars Yash, Srinidhi Shetty, and Ramachandra Raju. The responses from my RRR and Bahubali reviews have been just like insane. There's been so many requests for what my next movie should be. And KGF was the next movie on the list, the one that got the most votes. But what really surprised me was that there were some people that said not to watch it, which of course made it almost inevitable that I wanted to watch this one next. Luckily, Amazon Prime here in the United States has KGF both parts in the original language of Kannada, which I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, I always prefer to watch the movie in its original language where possible. I mean, with RRR, that just wasn't a thing. And I believe Bahubali wasn't available in Telugu either. But anyway, immediately though, upon starting to watch this thing, what really jumps out at you is how fast the editing is. I mean, the cuts come very, very quickly, and that includes the subtitles. So you have to read fast to even get any kind of inkling of what's going on. I think most people have seen fast editing in movies, especially when it comes to action scenes. Usually, that fast editing and all these quick cuts are to mask the inability of the fighters to actually fight properly, right? So the choreography can be kind of not so great. So they do a bunch of cuts to kind of mask that, right? Here, they're doing these kinds of cuts when people are just talking or looking at each other. And what? Now, I'm no editor by any stretch, right? I've never edited a movie or anything like that, but all the cuts here, man, they just wore me out. Like, I don't know if they're just trying to make these dialogue scenes more exciting by giving them sort of like the action movie feel, but it's also like really confusing because what they're doing is they're breaking some cinematic rules too, right? There are scenes where the camera moves so much that you're like, you actually don't know where you are. One of the examples is it's a kind of a rule in filmmaking called the 50-50 rule. So usually if you've got two people talking, you've got it like this. So it's almost like if there's two people talking, the camera is sitting kind of to one side on the same angle, right? And it's doing this. Well, here, there's scenes where they go behind the person, like on the other side, and you're like, you're constantly off balance. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was really like, it was really, really like, wow. Then one of the weird things is that when the action scenes start, the editing slows down. It slows down and gives these the slow motion, almost like the action star shots, you know what I mean? And it's like, but why? Why are you doing this crazy cutting when there's just people talking? It's a weird, it's very, very strange. One of the other things that really kind of stuck out to me too was the sound effects. Like there are times when the sound effects almost feel like they were artificially turned up, like the volume is louder, and it makes it garbled. It makes it almost like, if you know anything about sound, when something clips, it sounds distorted. And there were times when some of these sound effects just sounded so like, that it was like a slap in the face for me. This almost makes it sound like I hated the movie, and I really didn't. I mean, the actors, all of the actors, very charismatic, just Yash is like kind of amazing. So I was really into it, and the look of the movie is really, really beautiful. I don't know. I really liked the way that it was shot. And the story itself, I was into it. I wanted to know more, and there were some really inspiring scenes. I was really invested in Rocky's journey, even though he's a gangster and he's kind of a bad guy. But it was kind of awesome to watch. But I feel like a lot of that was just kind of let down by the editing because it kept taking me out of it. The tone is also very, very serious. So with Bahubali and RRR, there was almost like a lighthearted, a fun feel to it. This was much more serious, which I didn't mind, but it was still like it's definitely an adjustment after watching those two movies. So I'll say this for KGF Chapter One, right now I don't know if I could recommend it, right? But at the same time, KGF Chapter 2, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had time to watch it yet. And if you watched my Bahubali review, you'll know that, yeah, Part 2 seriously put it over the edge for me. Like, Bahubali was fine, but then Chapter 2, or the Part 2 for Bahubali was just like, wow. So I'm really like excited. I'm excited to see Chapter 2 and see if it can live up. And apparently it's pretty new. It just came out like earlier this year. So yeah, I'm really excited to see it. So KGF, let me know what you think. I mean, have you seen this movie yet? I mean, have you seen both parts? What'd you think? If you haven't seen it, are you kind of like, well, your review kind of made me think maybe not. Look, I'm reserving a lot of judgment until I see Chapter 2. So hopefully Chapter 2 will just slay me and it'll be awesome. But let me know what you think. And also keep those requests coming because, look, I've been keeping track of every single comment. And I mean, I read every single comment, of course, but I'm keeping track of which movies I should watch next. So let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll make sure it's on the list. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.